Tennessee Titans fans, I got to thinking. We're 2-7. Pretty much feels like all hope for this season is off the table. And so I got to look into the future. And I know we've got plenty of time to look to the future. It's only November. But what do the Titans do at the quarterback position this offseason? Because they could be in quite a predicament. What do you do at the quarterback position if you get to the end of this season and you decide Will Levis is not the guy for us, we want to go in another direction? What do you do at that point? If Will Levis is not that guy, who is? Well, obviously the first thing you would think to do is look to the draft, because the Titans are probably going to have a high draft pick, probably a top fiver at this point, but there are a lot of bad teams in the NFL, so who knows? But let's say Titans do get a top 5 pick. Is there a quarterback, realistically, in this upcoming draft that you guys are excited about potentially being the future of this team? I got to be honest with you. I'm not very high on this quarterback class. I understand people are high on Shedeur Sanders. I understand people are high on Cam Ward. I see the upside of those guys, but I also see that Shedeur Sanders, for instance, doesn't have the best pocket presence, which is one of our main complaints about Will Levis, is that he doesn't have good pocket presence. Cam Ward kind of gets a little careless with the ball at times, which is one of our complaints about Will Levis, is that he gets too careless with the ball at times. And after those two guys, I really don't want anything to do currently with Quinn Ewers or Carson Beck or any of those guys. So is there a quarterback in this draft that you can confidently say, we're willing to take a chance and draft that guy in the top 5? I'm just not sure at this point. I'm not sure. And also, if you're talking about Shedeur Sanders, I don't even know if Prime would even let him come here. I mean, Prime literally said the other day on whatever show he was being interviewed on, I'm going to have a say-so in where my kid gets drafted. I'm going to pull an Archie Manning, and if somebody wants to draft my kid and I don't think it's a good fit, I'm going to step in. And he also said he's going to do the same thing for Travis Hunter. So I don't even know if Coach Prime would let Shedeur come to Nashville if we wanted him. I'm hesitant on this quarterback class as of right now, because if Shedeur Sanders is QB1 in this quarterback class, I think he would have been QB5 or QB6 in the last one. So I don't know. I could absolutely be talked into it, but as of right now, I'm not exactly, especially when you're looking at a team like the Titans that have other needs. The Titans, they need some edge rushers. They need, probably going to need a safety. You're going to need a right tackle. That's the other biggest need. You're going to need a young wide receiver. There are other big-time needs on this team that you could address if you don't want to address quarterback in the draft. Now, one thing I will say, and the Titans currently don't have a third-round pick, and I don't know where some of these quarterbacks are going to land, I'll tell you something. I would at least be intrigued. Depending on how far he fell, I wouldn't be totally against kicking the tires on Jalen Milroe from Alabama. No, I mean, obviously there are major issues there. You wouldn't draft him, I think, in a first or second round. But if you got to like the 4th round and he's still hanging around, I wouldn't have a problem taking him there. Great athlete. You can at least kick the tires on that. But as far as spending a high pick on a quarterback, I'm a little iffy on that. And so what happens if the Titans don't want to do that, or if they're not in a position to use a high pick on a quarterback? What do you do? I mean, take a look. Well, I'll read to you some of the free agent quarterbacks that are going to be out there this offseason. You tell me who you're just jumping up and down about. Sam Darnold. Now, I know Minnesota 7-2. They're probably about to be 8-2, and everybody's all about the Sam Darnold thing. But you know as well as I do. Sam Darnold, first of all, is in a great situation in Minnesota. He's got the best receiver in football out there to throw to. He's got Aaron Jones, good running back. He's got a great defense. Sam Darnold is in a great situation. Sam Darnold, to me, would be a waste of time. He would be a waste of time for the Tennessee Titans because even if Sam Darnold's okay, Sam Darnold ain't getting you to an AFC championship. He's not getting you to a Super Bowl. I guess if you just needed a bridge quarterback for a year while you address other needs, maybe. But you'll have to forgive me. I would not exactly be jumping up and down at this point for Sam Darnold. Zach Wilson, I think his days as a starter in the NFL are over. I mean, just a bunch of backups. Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota. Should the Titans do that just for the vibes alone? Because Marcus is 31 years old. He's got more years behind him than in front of him in the NFL. I mean, do you bring Marcus in here just so he can end his career where he started it? I doubt that happens. Drew Lock, Jarrett Stidham, Andy Dalton, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a name that people have thrown around. He's only 25 years old. Didn't look terrible when he was in for Pittsburgh for the first month or so. So everybody's wondered, my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, take it or leave it. If you're going to go out there and get Justin Fields, you may as well just stick with Will Levis for another year. If you're going to go get Justin Fields, then I think you would be better off to just stick with Will Levis for another year if you're going to do that. Because is Justin Fields better than Will Levis? Maybe, but he ain't better enough. A lot of the same issues with Will Levis, a lot of those same issues exist with Justin Fields. In so many ways, they're almost the same guy. They take hits they don't need to. They try to do too much. They don't have good pocket presence. They try to force the ball. I mean, and keep in mind, Justin Fields, the good experience that he had with Pittsburgh is like a quarterback's dream. You can go to Pittsburgh and you're just going to win because they always win. But as soon as Mike Tomlin had the opportunity to put Russell Wilson in there, he put Russell Wilson in because he knew, okay, I am not interested. I mean, like I said, if you're going to bring in Justin Fields, I think you'd be better off to just bring back Will Levis and let him go another year and see what he does. Because I just don't think there's enough of a difference between those two guys to justify. There's nobody. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, give me a break. Josh Dobbs, bring him back to town. So Russell Wilson is going to be a free agent. I mean, that would be a great bridge quarterback, but I feel like it's inevitable Pittsburgh's going to bring him back. And so, I mean, there's no free agents that, I mean, obviously you could trade for somebody, but I don't even know who that would be, except for one guy. I'll just throw this name out there. Some of you are going to just throw your phone across the room when I say it, I'm sure, but I'm just going to throw this name out there. Matthew Stafford. I'm just going to throw that name out there. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not even saying it's the right thing to do. But Matt Stafford, how old is he? I don't know. He's getting near the end of his career. He's got a Super Bowl championship. But he's playing at a high level, and there's a lot of speculation that the Rams may be trying to part ways. I don't know about the financial element of it. I don't know about cap space and all that. But if you needed a bridge quarterback, I mean, that looks like, I mean, that'd be a guy I'd be intrigued by just coming in for a year or so. But again, I don't know anything about the financial aspect of it. I don't even know Stafford may retire at the end of this year. But I'm just going to throw that name out there. Matthew Stafford. Just going to throw his name out because I really don't know. Like, there's really nobody else I can think of. People talked about, is Carolina going to try to trade Bryce Young? Number one, I don't think they are. Number two, if you think Will Levis is not the answer, how could Bryce Young be any better? I don't know. So it's a predicament. It's a predicament. And honestly, I have not ruled out the option. You know, lest we forget, I know the Titans are 2-7. They're terrible, but Will Levis still has time to put together some good performances. And what if he does? What would Will Levis, let me ask you, let me know in the chat below, What would Will Levis have to do with the remainder of this season for you to feel good about saying, you know what? Let's bring him back next year and see if he improves. Let's address the other needs. Let's address right tackle. Let's address wide receiver. Let's address edge rush. Let's address all of those things. Keep Will for another year. And then if we need to, we'll get a quarterback next time. What would he have to do? Because if he can keep building on what he did against the Chargers, don't get me wrong, his pocket presence was terrible against the Chargers, held onto the ball too long, took sacks he didn't need to, but it was his most encouraging performance of the season. It really was. No crazy turnovers, nothing stupid. What do you do? What do you do if Will Levis, if you get to the end of the year and he's improved? Does that become your best option? To just stick with him? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how the remainder of the season plays out. At least that'll give you a reason to care about the games, because it sure don't look like the playoffs are any realistic thing in the future. Let me know. What do you think? Who are you most intrigued by? Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Justin Fields, Will Levis, Sam Darnold? Don't be ashamed. Throw out any name you want. No judgment here. All right? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. Tighten up. Bye.